Hey, Money Talks. Oh, I'm so excited. We have you,
too.
Regina, with me here again. This is our second show. Welcome.
Thank you. So I think we nailed it last time. So I'm looking forward to today's questions and see how we do.
We're going to be talking about money.
Yes.
Money.
Yes.
We're going to be making money. Money is coming. I am feeling it. We're going to have an amazing discussion.
Yeah.
And first of all, I love to start with the greatest news I have today for you.
Give it to me.
And we are actually we got a business, a small businesswoman. Well, she's been in business for over 30 years.
Okay.
And she has a lovely store that's called Giselle Tunes in Studio City.
Okay.
And she offered, and she's very brave, Giselle. Thank you so much. And she said, "Why don't you girls come over and do a podcast from my store and observe the store and see? You know, I would like to get some more business.
Okay.
And right now, I'm coming back from being in the virus mode.
Yeah.
People are not shopping." You know, people we need more business. Small businesses need more business, more traffic. This is how we survive on the traffic.
Yeah.
So I said, of course, what an opportunity to do such a great thing. You know, she's a woman. So we're supporting not just small business, but supporting women with businesses.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing this. We're going to get a date, but Mondays is where the store is wide open because she says the traffic is not so great on Monday.
Okay.
So we will do this on Monday.
Okay, I'm excited. So we're going to do this is going to be a live thing. We're going to be there. We're going to observe. We're going to watch the clients. We're going to see how they operate the store. All of it.
Exactly.
Love it.
And then we'll get back to her.
Yeah.
And we will tell her what kind of details can be, tuned
Adjusted.
up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Her store was called Giselle's Tunes.
Well, there you go.
So
Giselle's going to get a tune up.
We're going to get a tune. All right, we're going to tune you up, Giselle, a little bit.
Love it.
And make the store, the store is amazing. I mean, I must tell you, it's very, if you would go on a vacation, and you want to take a few pieces, this is the place where you would find a little bit of pieces of linen, a little coveralls and cover-ups and pretty shorts. And it's just an amazing little store.
Perfect
in Studio
timing.
City. Giselle
Perfect
Tunes.
timing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Thank you for opening the space for us so we can do this. I think it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
It's definitely a win-win.
Yeah.
And we can do this with a lot of businesses because this is the time of the economy where things are waking up.
Yes.
And, people are shopping finally, and we still use our masks, but still, people are a little, it's
getting back to life.
Or trying to get back to life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are excited to get back to life.
Exactly.
So shopping should be on the list, right? We're hitting, we're in a summer. Today is June 1st, my God.
Right.
We're in the seasons for her store, clearly.
Right.
So I'm excited. Very good. Thank you.
To add to that, she's been in business for 30 years.
Okay.
So she's not someone. She survived a lot of milestones.
Yeah.
So it also an opportunity for us as the experts, to see what exactly is she doing right. So it could be
a lot,
right?
A lot. If you can manage to stay alive for 30 years in a store.
Right, exactly.
I'm impressed. Yeah,
so
100%.
Right, we're going to find out all of it. We're going to find, we're going to have the opportunity to talk about.
I think it's amazing, and I think if other people who want to offer up their space for the same thing, it's a beautiful opportunity for you to know what to do, what not to do, how to do it better, right? Because there's always a better way to do things.
Right.
I love it. I'm
so excited.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what kind of business you have.
No, I don't care.
This can be done with any business.
Yeah.
From a dental office to
a manufacturing, a construction, a store. A business is a business, right? Like I said before, it only needs two things: people and money. Every business needs people that are willing to give you money for the service or the product you provide. I mean, that's really it. Everything else is just a line item.
Excellent. So, speaking of money, and I can talk about money, 24/7. And so speaking of money, let's touch on that subject. That's money. Money is a little sensitive for a lot of people. Most of us don't want to part with it. Some of us can't wait to part with it, and others trying to be somewhere in the middle. So as far as your definition, what is the success? What is a person that's successful with money? Describe that.
I think people that understand the difference between wasting it and investing it. You know, usually people with a lot of money, they're not wasteful. They invest it, they invest big chunks of it. They have financial advisors. They don't do all of it themselves, right? They're smart enough to know that they're not smart enough to know everything. That's very important. They're not wasteful with it, but they invest it in things that will grow the money. They will multiply the money at a higher rate than a bank will ever pay them. So I think financially sound people and like financially oriented people, they look at everything, is it a wasteful, is it an investment?
Okay.
That's right. I really believe that's where it's at.
Okay.
People that enjoy wasting money typically don't have any money.
Okay.
If all you do is, if you're busy wasting it, you know. There is one thing on splurging and spending it,
Right.
but those people really understand how to make it as well.
Okay. So you say that people that have money, they do spend it. I mean,
Yeah, they spend it. That's why they have it. That's part of the reason they have it. But they also, you see, they also have it not because they're out for the money, because they really love what they do, and whatever it is that they offer, the service and the product just happens to provide value to millions of people. Millions of people are willing to pay for it.
Okay. So a lot of people have a million things that they think they're so important, they're so valuable, and they, and everybody needs it. What makes a difference between those that actually, make through that scene? As we say, I love this question. Like, what makes you different from the 90% of people that do the same thing, and they fail?
Mindset and action.
Okay.
The people that have amassed massive wealth, they fell more times than anybody will be able to count. They just don't see a failure as anything but as anything, really. They get up the next day and go back to what they were doing with additional lessons learned.
Okay.
Most people will fail once or twice and will spend their life trying to avoid failure.
Okay.
You see, it's not the failure that we're afraid of. We're afraid of the feeling that we're left with.
Okay.
Because when we fail, we're left with the feeling, right? So we're not trying to avoid the failure, the act itself. We're trying to avoid the feeling, the way we felt when we lost the money, the way we felt. Like, let's take it to relationships for a second. A lot of people say, I'm afraid to love again, or I'm afraid to do this or do that.
Right.
Why are they afraid? They're not afraid. They just don't want to feel the sucky feeling again that it felt when the relationship fell through. Same thing with the money. So 99% of people will fail once or twice. It will scare them, and they will stop, and they'll go get a job. Most people... And I know that I'm one of them. I've never seen failure as anything. Like, it's just an event in my life that I don't really attach emotion to it. The moment you don't attach emotion to something, it's meaningless.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Right? Because we're trying to avoid an emotion.
Right.
The painful, the fear. The fear is an emotion. We're trying to avoid it.
It's interesting that you say that, money and emotion, because I've seen people express the most emotion is when they lose money.
Yeah, it's fear. It's fear.
It's fear.
But also, people that know inside of them that they will always be able to make money, losing money doesn't scare them. It makes them uncomfortable. It inconveniences them for a moment, but it doesn't stop them.
Okay.
They're going to get up the next day and figure out how to make it again because they understand there's an abundance of it.
Okay.
That's the difference between poor man's mentality that we talked about.
Right.
They believe that if they have $5, that's it, like there's no more. Oh my God, I can't let it go.
Okay.
And there are people that believe, I can let this go today, I'm gonna make 10 times more tomorrow, and feel confident in that. So that knowing keeps them going. They're not afraid to lose it. Like I said, losing it doesn't scare them, it's gonna make them uncomfortable for a moment, but they know they're always gonna make more. It's all a mindset. It's all a mindset, because the mindset directs our actions.
Okay.
Period.
So listen, but it has people that make money. There's a sense of they say if you made a lot of money or any money and you lost it, okay, you already know that you can make it again.
Yeah.
So that's why people they rebound and they restart and they get up and they do it again. But those people that actually have never made money, okay, that are having the most difficult time with holding on to money, would you say?
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We lose what we're afraid to lose. Again, let's talk about love. If you're dating or you're married and you're suffocating the other person, how long are they going to stay? They're going to leave. Okay. Relationships are the same way.
Right.
If you're just lean back, if you're being yourself, if you're confident, they're not going anywhere. Because you're yourself. Money is the same way. When you're confident that you can have it, and you can have it anytime you desire, and it's always there for you, you know, you sometimes look at people and they're just lean back, their energy, their shoulders are back, they're confident, and it feels like people are just throwing money at them. Their business is just flourishing because they have a sense of comfort and a sense of knowing. They just know. And money, I believe it 100%. It's all energetic. So this is when we talk about people that have money or don't have money. When they hold on to it and they're just so fearful, they're afraid of money.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They're afraid of money. People are very afraid of money because they think it's that without money, they lose their value, they lose their worth. Like money, validates them as a human being. So we hold on to it for our dear life, but it doesn't. You're the same wonderful human being God made you if you have $1 million in a bank or if you have $5 in a bank. Like, you're not less than.
Right. And yet, most of us want more than what we have. More.
Absolutely.
And we're willing to sacrifice a lot of things to have that type of money. I mean, I hear all the time, you know, a person is going to work at, 6 a.m. in the morning, comes back at, 11 o'clock at night, and an actress is getting paid, $40 million for a role, and she probably doesn't sleep at all, So we, as human beings, we are always striving to reach for more.
Okay, so let me add something to that. I don't believe we're striving for money. We're striving for the comfort of life and the quality of life. Money is just a vehicle that gets us there. So energetically speaking, because I do believe in energetics and money and all that stuff, we're hyper-focused on money, make more money, make more money, make more money. I don't have enough. So we're stuck in a vicious cycle of I don't have enough because we're stuck in the lack. We keep thinking about what we don't have. So how can we possibly take positive action? So we get stuck on that. But people don't want the money. People want the comfort that money gives you. People want the luxury that money gives you. People want the freedom that money gives you. Money is just a tool. So my position is focus on the things you desire, focus on the end result. Don't be mad at money. And it just happens. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. But we can't be afraid. People are mad at money like they don't have it. Well, why are you mad at it? There's the same opportunities for you and I, right, to go out and do certain things. And like we talked about, most people won't take the risk.
Okay.
The risk is equal to the reward. I mean, if we really believe in the basic principles of life that you get in what you put out, why is money any different?
Right. That's very true. That's very true. So let's fold our sleeves a little bit and become a little practical.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about why would a business need to hire
a mentor,
a money coach, and a lifestyle business coach, what would be like one of the five reasons that that's really a great idea to hire a money coach?
Number one, we all have to be, like I said, smart enough to know that we're not smart enough to know everything. Not possible, period. Number two, we all have blind spots. I don't care how smart you are, but if you pay attention, the smartest people in the world pay insanely large amounts of money for a board of advisors.
Okay.
There's a reason for that.
Okay.
That's number two. Number three, you will never know how much you could have achieved as a team effort versus by yourself.
Okay.
Because by yourself, you only have your bank of knowledge and information. I can think I'm the smartest thing out there, but I only know what I know. So the moment I add Alana into my life, I now know more information that I did not have to learn.
Right.
You bring your knowledge and information.
Right.
So collectively, now we have a bigger bag of tools, so to speak, to work with. So when you're by yourself, you will never know how great you can get. So for example, an athlete, a runner, right? An Olympic caliber runner,
right.
They're not hiring a coach to teach them how to run. They know how to run. They're hiring a coach to show them the blind spots.
Well, wait. Let's track back a little bit. Okay. So they hire a coach so they can teach them how to breathe. How to breathe.
Yes. Blind spots, breathe, diet, exercise, you did this right. Because I cannot see myself from an outside perspective. Another reason to have help outside, because when you're in the business, when you're in the situation, you're emotionally attached. You make all of your decisions, most of them. It takes very high level of intelligence to be able to cut off the emotion and make very logical, clear-cut decisions in your business. Because whether we like it or not, we're human beings. We're emotionally attached to the business because the business feeds the family, pays the bills, pays the employees. If I come into a business or an outsider comes in, I'm not emotionally attached, not because I don't care, but me not being emotionally attached, or whoever you hire not being emotionally attached, is a massive asset. We have a clear vision of what's going on. Another reason is when you're in it, you're in it. You only see what you see. An outside perspective has a bird's eye view. Always, you will never, as the CEO, have the bird's eye view of your business. It's not possible. We're not made this way. Mm-hmm. This is why people go to therapy, get an outside perspective. This is why people get a coach. This is why all of these things happen, because we need to be smart enough to know that we're not smart enough to know everything. So a lot of people don't ask for help because they start asking for help when things are starting to go bad. And typically, they don't even ask for help then. They ask for help when the stuff hit the fan.
Right.
And it's close time and it's bankruptcy time. That's when they say, oh my God, I think I need help.
Yeah, when they're in debt already and you know, people are...
Because people, I'll tell you, I've seen this a million times. People don't want to pay money for help and support, for mentorship, when they think everything is okay. But they will never know how much better it could be with additional support.
So let's touch up on our times right now, because we're kind of in a different climate that we were, say, 3 years ago. You know, 3 years ago we had a different president. Things were looking differently. Now we have a different president, and now we also post, recovering something that was very difficult, and a lot of people were home, and I think it was traumatizing.
Yeah.
So as far as businesses go, how different are you from from what you're saying? And you've been in this business for almost 19 years. So what is the difference now that you see that the people should put attention more to?
I don't know how different it is, because it's still money and it's still people.
Okay.
I actually think people have more opportunities now because a lot of businesses went out of business. If you still have a business that's hanging on at least by a thread, your doors are open, pay attention that most businesses, small businesses, have closed, which means all those clients need a place to buy. And if you're not out there schmoozing those clients and making a way for them to find, helping them find a way to you, somebody else is. Because the people are still buying.
Right.
Nobody stopped spending money. Now there's less places to spend money, actual physical locations. So who's going to serve them, you or me?
Very good. So there's an opportunity there.
Massive opportunities. Massive. If all these businesses close, somebody's going to have to serve them. There are businesses, a lot of stuff moved online, but there are businesses that you can move online. You can move a dry cleaners online.
Okay.
You can move a construction business online. You can move all of the groceries online. People still want to be able to go and buy a gallon of milk. There are still places, hair salons. You can do your haircut via Zoom. Right? There is still a lot of businesses that are open, that people need the service. You can't move it online, and a bulk of them closed. So who's going to pick up the business?
Right. It's interesting. This is so true. It is very wise, vision that you have. It's very true. I've noticed a little store that sells caviar, and he opened up during pandemic, like literally when it just started. And I was looking at this shop, and I was thinking to myself, who would in the right mind would open, first of all, would buy caviar, in our, right now in our turbulent times, where he says he has a caviar for $1,000 an ounce. And I asked him, like, are you making any business? He says, oh yeah, people are ordering online, and we're doing home deliveries, and so really, like you said, people are shopping. Yeah. People are not limiting themselves. No. Especially now. Yeah. That people are shopping. People are buying what they want, primarily, because we buy what we want. Yeah. We don't really buy what we need anymore. I mean, we need food, and we go to the market for that. But clothes, caviar, This is
Yeah, there's always a market for
Right.
everything. I think the people, like you said, they're not limiting themselves. I think the people that are limiting themselves are the people that think that nobody's buying right now. That's it.
And those are the people that actually, if you go look at the businesses, businesses close down all the time,
Correct.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the attitude of the owner of the business is everything. If
Mhm.
you know, if you are,
Mhm.
if you don't see what's where you are, first of all, what is the niche, right? You have to be a special niche to really succeed. Can we kind of elaborate on that element of a business having, because what do we want? We want to cater, find something that nobody else has, right? There is that element of the find, the hunt after something, a better price. Like if you're in construction, you're looking for a better price per cement or per wood, and you're always on a hunt. So I'm not sure exactly if this is a question or
Tell me, yeah.
So the question from that is like, each business, when they look at themselves, how do they find their niche?
Because in what I do, there is really no niche. I just work with businesses that understand that need help. But okay, you use construction, for example. So I think for construction, the niche is: are you doing commercial? Are you doing residential? Are you doing both? Are you doing homes under $500,000? Are you doing homes between $1 million to $500,000? Are you doing homes $1 million to $5 million? I think that would be like a niche.
So my question was: here's a question: is the niche has direct effect on your income level?
Well, for me, no. But for a business, does a niche have a direct? I think you charge more. Like if you're construction. If your niche is homes $5 to $10 million, it's going to impact your income. You just make more probably per unit, because even if you make still the same margin at a $5 million home, if you make 30% margin on a $5 million home, and you make the same 30 on a $1 million home, the 30% margin on one versus the other is still different. You're still making more money. Here you're keeping 30% off $1 million. Here you're keeping 30% off of $5 million. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's more money.
Right. Right. So it's just a matter what is your ticket? What are you selling?
Yeah. What are you selling? Yeah. And there is a market for everything. There is a market for everything always. Always.
Okay. So why else? I mean, you said blind spots in a business. That's one great reason to hire a coach.
Blind spots, yeah.
And not making money, obviously.
Making money, but also CEOs generally don't have anybody that speaks their language. CEOs don't have somebody that understands the load of a CEO. So like if I talk to a CEO, I've worked with CEOs for 19 years at this point, I understand the weight of a CEO. They can have a conversation with me as an equal, somebody who understands them and can give them a logical solution. You can talk to employees all day long. There may be magnificent human beings, but they will never understand the weight of a CEO. What it means.
Okay, can we go over to those of you who are joining us right now? We're speaking to Regina Galbinas, and she is a business coach and money coach, and also lifestyling coach.
Yeah, life and business strategist.
Life and business strategist. So you're listening to Money Talks at TLA Radio, and thank you for joining. And we are talking about money.
Our favorite subject. So a CEO typically, like I said, they don't have somebody that will relate to them and can have a conversation at that level. Not that if it's a good level or bad level, just somebody who speaks their language. That's a big, the big problem for most CEOs that I've come across is they don't have anybody to bounce the ideas off of them.
What is the CEO language? What does it mean? What do they speak?
Like we talked about, navigating through employees, understanding numbers, making better decisions, shoring up things in certain departments, making decisions of when to take a contract on or not to take a contract on. These are daily conversations a CEO needs to have. Every decision that a CEO has to make, typically, they're the only one who really understands what it takes to make a decision, because they're the only one who has a global picture of the company, all of the moving pieces.
So they use a strategist as a bridge of communication?
Always. No, not a bridge of communication. So, for example, a client wants to take on a job. Okay, so I've done, okay, we'll stay construction. I've done a lot of commercial construction. Residential, doesn't matter. They want to take on a job. And they're not sure, they don't have a bird's eye view, they're not really sure, something doesn't feel right about the job. They don't know what it is, it just doesn't feel right. Something, and it's a big job, right? Because if they miss, it's a lot of money on the line. They can't really have a discussion with the employee. Employee doesn't have everything. I can sit with the CEO and ask them specific questions that will show us the blind spots and then say, okay, does this make sense? Does this not? It may not be profitable. This is not profitable. Do we have the cash to cover it? Do we have the cash flow? Do we need to front? Do we need to put money up front to get the material? Do we have the cash in the bank to float the material? When are the payments due? In 60 days, 90 days, right? Because it's all on releases and retention, 30-day payment, 60-day, whatever the structure is. And then maybe we don't have enough cash. It's a 60-month payment term per month because it's, on the schedule of completion. We need to pull the payments forward to 30 days versus 60. I see an employee cannot have this conversation.
Right. So you think like a CEO. Basically, you know exactly what a CEO needs to handle in order to make something profitable.
Yeah, absolutely. An employee cannot have the discussion, not because they're brilliant human beings, but again, an employee doesn't know how much cash is in a bank. An employee doesn't know when the next draw from job A is coming in so we can push forward the job in job B. I can tell the CEO, look, you can't afford to carry the job. We need to get a deposit on construction. Or you can't take the job because the job financially is going to fail. Because although you're making 30% margin, if you make it 9 months from now, it's not going to matter if you're going to take the company because we don't have enough cash flow from the other jobs, right? Okay. Because other jobs are you have maybe you bill $50,000, 40 of that can be releases. It's not even your money. It goes through joint checks to somebody else. So an employee cannot have the conversation.
No.
But the CEO, so when people hire me or somebody like me, it's not that they talk to me once a week, once a month. They talk to me every single day because stuff happens every single day.
Right.
And who else they're gonna talk to? They're not gonna sit down with an employee and disclose all of the financials to them.
No, of course not. It's the employee does not think like an owner of the company. And the interest of the employee is very different than the interest of the owner. And I think that's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant step of an owner, business owner, who is in process of growth, and to hire somebody like you. So because first of all, you're on his side.
Always.
Your objective is his objective.
Yeah.
And
always,
if he doesn't make money, you don't make any money. That's a big deal.
Yes, and my job is to protect the company even above the CEO. My job is to look out for the company, not even for the CEO. My job is to look out for the company because the company feeds the CEO and the family. So I'm not even there to tell them, great job all the time. I'm there to really tell them, okay, look, there are some mistakes. Let's clean this up. Let's fix this. Let's negotiate better payment terms. Let's push some stuff out. Let's bring this in. Let's get some other jobs. Let's call back, tell them we need to increase the price, whatever. And sometimes I've had to fight people. I told them, you can't take this job. And they fight me like, I want the job.
I'd love to hear those stories.
I say a hard no. And when I say a hard no, at that point, it's their decision. I will always let the CEO have the last word. This is not my company. I respect the CEO always. My job is to give them all of the information, tell them why I think this way, point out all of the ways why, to justify why I feel this way, and then they get to make a decision, and then they get to live with the decision. Okay. But when they come back, when there's a bad decision, they come back and tell me, okay, I screwed up. It's never I told you so. I said, okay, not a problem. Let's course correct. This is how we do now. And remember, you asked me about how do they know to listen to me. This is the stuff that creates historical evidence.
Okay.
This is the stuff that creates historical evidence. But the massive success in when you hire somebody, people think, how are you going to help me? How am I going to talk to you? The massive success in the little conversations that happen every single day. It's 2-degree adjustments, 2-degree adjustments. Every single day we adjust something, and all of a sudden you look back, the entire ship is moving in the right direction.
Interesting.
It's the conversations, it's the little things along the way, right? When you bake a cake, it's all of the little ingredients that make the whole.
And following instructions.
Yeah,
actually, cakes. I try to bake. I don't love baking. I love eating baking. But I'm one of those people that I do not follow instructions.
Neither do I. Neither do I. I will tell you, I swear to God, really quickly, I hate even reading instructions, let alone follow them. I literally, I am not very good with the handy stuff, fixing stuff. Swear to God, I literally needed to change the door handle on my door. I mean, it's basic. It's put it to the side and screw. For the first time in my life I read instructions, I put it upside down. That was the only time I read instructions. I still screwed it up. Yeah.
But when it comes to money,
yes.
Money is, when I see numbers and I count numbers in my head, like when I go, I'm always calculating for some reason. I have no idea what it is. It's like a little computer in the house. I pay this, I'm supposed to get this, and it's always in my head, So I'm sure that a lot of people are like me, and money is on their mind, and it's always. It's always some somewhere to money grows. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
But, that in the course it doesn't. We have to work smart. That statement of working hard and working smart. Because a lot of people will say to you, Regina, I work so hard. Okay, but
it's a hamster on a wheel.
Are you working smart?
Are you working smart? Yeah.
And can you differentiate this term? Because some people are really confused. What does it mean?
It's people that believe that making money is hard. It's people that believe that in order to have money, we're supposed to be on a hamster wheel 24/7. It's going back to a mindset. It's going back to mindset. I'm not saying that to make a lot of money, you can sit back, eat potato chips and watch TV. I'm not saying it. But also, it is people want to make a lot of money. They end up working hard because they don't want to delegate and they don't want to sub anything out. Remember we talked about the person mentality. I don't want to pay this person $20 and I'm going to do it myself. Well, how much can you do yourself?
Right.
If you're the secretary, if you're the bookkeeper, if you're the janitor, if you have to wash the toilets, if you have to do, when do you have time to sell and facilitate the jobs?
Right.
So I am all about, to me, working smartest, hire the people that can do all the things so you can come sit there and come up with brilliant ideas and hand them off to people to facilitate them. To me, that's working very smart.
So it sounds a little expensive. I mean, if you ask me, for a business owner to, who is used to expenses, because they look at their expenses, what are my expenses a month and what is my income? And if they have minimal income, I mean, barely making it, how are you able to take their state of mind, because their income is based on their state of mind?
Yes.
How are you able to bring that person to a state of mind where they are willing to believe what you have to offer?
You mean to hire somebody to help them?
Correct.
Okay, so I sit down with the CEO and they decide that they don't want to spend $15 for a bookkeeper an hour. They want to do their own bookkeeping. So I would sit down for them, and the questions is, how long does it take you to do bookkeeping every single day or a week on an average, a week, a month? If you didn't do that, how much could you produce? How much revenue would that generate? Because I can promise you, them spending 20 hours a week, even 10 hours a week on bookkeeping, I can point to them that if I gave it to somebody else, they could make more money with their skills and abilities. They just don't see that way because nobody sits in front of them and says, how long does it take you? How much can you make if you didn't do that? How much could you net if you didn't do that? How much time would it free up? What would it allow you to do with that time, right? You turn it into a tangible example. You lead it back to money. Because if we're not doing something, if we gave it to somebody else and we can do something else with our time, where are you more productive money-wise? Are you making more money doing a bookkeeper's job, 10 hours a week? Or are you making more money schmoozing clients and getting new customers and new leads? Where is the money? And a lot of people say, when I make the money, I will hire a bookkeeper. Well, if you've been saying it to yourself for the last 3 years, perhaps it's a backwards mentality. Maybe we need to bite the bullet, cut back in other areas, hire somebody, give yourself free time. And my statement is always, what's the downside? If you don't like the way it works, you can always go back and do it yourself again. What's the downside of trying?
That's a very good question.
And when they try and they see that they're more productive and more profitable in other areas, why would they want to go back to it? And again, historical evidence that I can take something else away and something else and give it to other people, because it's baby steps with CEOs. I will never come in and say, okay, we need to change 10 things. It would freak them out. Like their whole psyche would go into chaos mode.
You reminded me of a business owner that I was, I used to work in HR, human resources, and I love that. I love talking to people, and I love meeting people, and and it's and in any kind of people. So this business owner was looking for a bookkeeper. It's interesting that we talk about this, and she's a very, very like, lots of experience, like 30 years of experience.
Okay.
You know, worked as a bookkeeper all her life, with degrees and everything. And she walked into his accounting, and she looked at his books, and she said, everything has to change. Everything. This has to go. You have to write it this way. This is the... She turned
Freaked him out.
She freaked him out so badly
You can't do that.
that he couldn't handle that. That was just too much, you know, and that's a very, you know, scary place to be. You know, where you bring in a helper that you want to pay them the amount they want to ask. You know, they're asking. And, you know, you want to have them the credentials. And that person does have a track record of, you know, being a great specialist. But when she said to him, you have to do everything that you have right now is wrong.
It's not the right approach.
That was the end of it. That was done. He said to me, I'm so sorry. This is and I said,
you know, Ilana, the problem is that people don't know how to talk to people. We have to understand human nature. We're dealing with people first and foremost. So when you first will come into someone's office, you're walking into their home. Because especially if it's a small business owner, they live in their office half their life, if not more. It's their home.
Right.
So if somebody comes into my house says, well, this is a pigsty, everything is a mess, they're never coming back. Who's going to invite them, right? Who does that? That's not the way to do it. But also with CEOs, you have to be gentle because it's their baby. They've invested their money, their savings, their life, their blood, sweat, and tears. So you can't just come in and rattle their cage. You have to come in with respect for and pay them the homage for the things they've done. Because if an employee comes in and says everything is wrong, well, have you ever started a company? Have you ever built one? You know, so but people don't know how to talk to people. So I'll give you an example. So I've done a lot of, let's say, reorganizations, Chapter 11.
Right.
I've never walked into somebody's company and told the CEO, well, this is a crap store. What the hell have you done here? Why are you going negative? This is a mess. You're a mess. This is terrible. I mean, can you imagine? I would send their whole body into shock.
Right.
It's never.
Right.
It's always, look, I know you've done the best you could with what you had. I know you've made the best decisions you thought you had. We're going to look at everything. We're going to see what we can shore up immediately to make sure the business stays open. We're going to make some adjustments if you're okay with it. They're always okay with it because but it's always you respect the position. You have to respect the chair. If today you're the CEO, I respect the chair. If tomorrow Bob gets, I respect the chair. It's not even the person, it's the chair. Who sits in the chair? But people need to learn how to talk to people, right? So walking into somebody's home saying everything is wrong, what kind of response? You're going to freak them out. Their body goes into shock.
Yeah.
But saying, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. Now that gives them a peace of mind. I know exactly what I need to do. And if this person would have started saying, I know exactly what needs to do to make this better the way you like it, and started doing it every single day, a little bit at a time, you can fix things without screaming about.
Right.
And the CEO sees a better way. It's all a matter of knowing that you're talking to a human being and being able to talk to people.
How do you handle a CEO who's a screamer?
I'm very calm by nature, and I've had them before, but because I don't really engage, number one, they stop. But number two, I will tell them that screaming at me is not part of the fee, but I can double it and you can yell all you want. I've said it.
Have you really?
Absolutely. I'm not shy. I'm not shy. And if they keep screaming, I'll increase the price. No, I will literally increase the price.
And how would you justify that?
I wouldn't. There's a warning. If you want to scream, the price is double.
Interesting.
That's it.
So they go through business
etiquette.
Etiquette.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not shy. I would. When it comes to, if I'm going to teach people how to run the business correctly and hold their standards and boundaries, I have to do the same for my business. If something doesn't work for me, I will walk away from the money. The reason is because I know I can always make more, but if I'm not an example of what I'm teaching them, so what am I teaching them?
Right.
How can I possibly tell a client that you have to hold your prices, you have to hold your standards, you have to hold your boundaries, stop giving things away for free? How can I possibly teach them that?
Right.
If I can't hold my prices, if I'm constantly negotiable on my prices, how can I do that? It's out of integrity, it's out of alignment completely.
How do you overcome that?
Writing, it's I have a pretty quick sense of humor, so I usually I'm able to find a way around it. But when CEOs realize that I'm 100% on the side of their company, they really let me say anything to them, and they are accepting of it, because I can say the harshest things with love, because they know I'm there for the company. Mm-hmm. I have no agenda. I don't have skin in the game. I don't take piece of the profit. I don't take piece of the company. I have no agenda. Mm-hmm. I have zero agenda except for to help them. And when they know that, they relax into the process and they trust me, because with historical evidence, they also see that I have no agenda. Because every advice I give them is for the benefit of the company. They'll never see me give advice for the benefit of me. It's not my company. I'm there for the company. Not even for the CEO, for the company.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm excited. That's very exciting news to know that there's something like that possibly is available out there, and that businesses, especially now in the economy today, the restart economy, we need we could use a lot of good coaches. When you hear a statement like I work so hard for the money, but I want money to work for me, what does it tell you?
People that don't understand how money is made, people that are still afraid of money, people that don't. For money to work for you, you have to have money. Okay. Before you can make it, you have to have the mindset. Mm-hmm. And it's going back, right? It's unpacking it, unraveling back to what I said. Mm-hmm. You have to work smart and not hard. I believe CEOs work extremely hard, because I've worked with CEOs my entire life. Mm-hmm. People don't give them enough credit. CEOs work extremely hard, because somebody has to be the brain. Without the CEO, the employees have no work to do. Without the employees, the CEO, his ideas are just ideas. That's why going back to facilitating to people, to qualified people.
You mean delegating?
Delegating, yeah. Delegating. You have to. I don't understand how one person can do everything and grow a business and make money. I don't understand.
So let's talk about that, because that's my field. This is where I come from, where I bring in employees that are professional and are able to perform and exceed and succeed. The CEO really doesn't have time to interview anybody. I mean, and it's actually, there is a whole book there that talks about not hiring, not interviewing. If you're a business owner, don't interview the people you're going to be working with for many reasons. And one of the reasons is that you think you might like somebody more than what you need it for. You may overlook the expertise, and you may overlook some things that, or also they don't have time to do a follow-up. They don't have time to do background checks, which is extremely important. To do that background check and make sure that the person that and I have horror stories where I had to do background checks and things were not real in the background. So those are the kind of things that CEO really has no time to deal with. Their job is to bring in to make the profit, but not, but if you hire somebody who is not in this, not, it's a waste of money. So going back to what you were talking about is on, CEO and you said that it's, CEO is the one that you deal with, and you're the one that. What is your direction with employees? How do you recommend to them to, do you recommend to hire HR specialists, or do you do the interviews yourself?
No, I personally don't. I personally don't. But for example, if a CEO is hiring for like a high position in the company, not just an employee a high position in the company, and they're going to pay them a lot of money, if they occasionally ask me to sit in on the interview and see if I have any blind spots, if I see anything, I will sometimes do that. But typically that's not what I do. I work with the CEO. But look, some companies, you can now literally hire somebody to outsource a task, meaning if you don't have the capacity for a full HR department, you can hire an HR to go through the interview process. You can hire an outside company that provides HR services.
Okay.
That can go through the process. Their job is to field the people, but here's also the thing: there is no amount of interviews you can make to nail it every single time until you see people on the job. They may be the most qualified people, but their attitude sucks. I wouldn't keep them.
How would you know? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't until
Right.
they get on the job. You don't know. So you have to be a little bit, give yourself grace. I'm not saying you. I'm saying you in general. We have to give ourselves grace when we hire incorrect people for the company. But you can also outsource the HR department for somebody that just handles the hiring. They will get the paper filled out. They will do the follow-up. You can outsource just like you can outsource bookkeeping to somebody. You can outsource HR. You can outsource all of those things without having an HR in-house on a full salary.
Okay, so Amani, you don't deal with that. You don't deal with any of the side of the employees. Like, say they went through the process and they've hired HR, and they don't go to you. You don't do that inspection of that employee. You don't deal with that. You strictly deal with.
I work with the business. With the business. Yeah. Now, if a CEO comes and says, look, we have an issue with this employee, how do we handle it, how do we do this, then I will discuss with them, or either the CEO or I work with top management, but I really don't work with employees. I'm not the manager on the floor. I work with, because everything has to come from the top. Everything comes from the top.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so we're getting close to our ending of this segment, which is time flies when you're having fun, and boy, do we have fun talking about money. It's incredible. Why don't we give a couple of tricks of the trade, as I say, or a few, to a business owner that's watching the show and thinking to themselves, do I need to hire a money coach or a strategist? Am I big enough? Am I small enough? Am I ready for this? What would be your kind of like a measuring stick for a business to see where should they measure themselves? I mean, yes, bottom line of the numbers, but what else should they be watching out for?
Bottom line, see where things are bleeding, see if they have the right staff, if they have the right support. I believe in hiring fast. I believe in firing fast. I believe when we keep people that don't belong there, we're not doing them a favor either. We're not helping anybody. Look at your growth potential. Are you growing as fast as you could be growing? If you can grow faster, look at where you're stopping yourself. All of those things. Look at your clients. Do you need to fire some clients? I'm all about firing clients. You need to fire clients because sometimes you can have less clients and
whoa.
Yes,
No, you would fire clients?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Why?
Done it all the time.
Why? How? Why? For what reason? Like, give us the reason why. Why
absolutely,
would you fire?
Absolutely. A client that, if your terms are net 30 and your client is paying net 90 and you're making 10-15% margin.
You're losing money.
Why? Why would you do that? Unless it's a very specific relationship and you decide to. But when you have sometimes you can literally get rid of half of your clients and make more money because they pay better margin. They pay faster. They're not a pain in the ass. I'm sorry. Yes, I said it because a lot of clients can be that.
It's a business language here.
Yes. And it moves fast.
Yeah. Right.
So why do I need a client that pays me 90 days, complains about everything, gives me everything last minute? I'm using my production, I'm using my staff for 10-15%, 90 days from now. And the administration that it takes to even process it, facilitate it, and typically they need to be followed up with. Why?
Well, as I'm just taking the advocate for the business owner, I would say, it fills that gap of that missing, a couple of thousand or that percentage that's missing that's going to pay for the payroll.
Okay. So very good conversation. This is how people get closer and closer and closer and closer to bankruptcy. They take bad jobs in. I'm going to make this $5 right now because it covers payroll. And tomorrow, Bob is going to pay me $10 that's going to help me pay for this $5 job that was not a good job. So now you're throwing good money after bad money. And then you're going to say, okay, so tomorrow Bob gives me this. And then 3 days from now, Ilana's going to give me $15. That's going to pay for this $10 that was a complete waste paying for the $5. I've seen this all the, you know how many people have told me I'm just going to take this job because I'm going to get some cash?
Yes.
And again, sticking with construction because they're big numbers. And I'm like, the moment you take this money and you apply it to here, you're already negative on the back end before you even started the job. And they're telling me, but I'm going to get the draws, but I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this. And I'm saying, while you're getting by barely the last 6 months, you're coming to a $100,000 hole in 6 months from now.
Right. And what if they don't pay you? What happens when they don't pay? That customer that complains, that is late on their payment, the customer that is no-show, doesn't answer your phones, and again complains. That is the customer that's draining your bank, basically.
So what's the point of the client? So you can cover one bad debt with another, with another, with another, so you can get into 6 months from now with a negative.
Right.
I can look at a job and already know that there's going to be a negative at the end of it. So now they're scrambling to cover the negative that's coming in the future. Now they're pulling other jobs are becoming negative. It becomes a mess. Because, okay, if a mindset is in a mentality state that I'll take this job just to cover payroll, it means they're making other bad decisions along the way. Period. One bad decision follow another. And it's not that they're bad people. They really want to cover payroll. They really want to pay the bills. They really are stressed out and they don't know what to do.
Right.
It's very genuine. They're scared. This is where emotion kicks in, and emotional decisions are very expensive. This is where bad loans come in, hard money loans, and I've seen so many balance sheets, 4 or 5 hard money loans.
Right.
Well, if you can get a hard money loan, it means you're not bankable. That alone should tell you to stop and make better decisions. But it's one thing after another. So I love firing clients. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? Nothing rattles the cage of my clients like me saying fire customers. This person, this person, this person, because a lot of times it doesn't make sense, and they're afraid. I've heard people tell me I'd rather have a bad customer than no customer. What's the point?
Listen, everybody, that's another show. We can have a whole show of businesses that retain clients
that they
shouldn't, and they should let them go and say goodbye and send them a love letter saying goodbye. It was thank you for the patronage, but we're no longer a match. I think that's okay. That's okay, and that's why we have you.
That's okay.
And you guys that are watching, it's Regina Galbinas. She's a strategist and a lifestyle and a business strategist, and if you need some help in your business and your numbers are low and you don't know what's going on, reach out to us. We'll help you we'll hook you up. Thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. We've literally touched
everything, a little bit of
everything. But and I'm excited about our new venture of visiting a business.
Me too.
Live.
Yes.
And we will discuss the business live of what can be improved. And in any way you will. I'll give you the wheel of the draw.
No, it's both of us. It's both of us. We're the team.
We'll have fun. It's a beautiful store, and this is the first one. And I hope if you guys have a store or a business and you want to film their life, we'd be happy to do that too. Thank you for joining. Have a great week. Shavua Tov, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow. We have Dr. Hillel Newman, the Consul General of Israel, is joining our show. So please be here with us. If you have questions, you want to go to Israel, now is the time. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. here at TLA Radio. I'm out. Thank you, Regina.
Beautiful. Thank you. It was a pleasure. We had fun.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Bye.